How's it going out there tonight? We're here. It's Thursday. Welcome to the Showboys Podcast. My name's Mike, joined by my good friends Nick and Chad. How are you both tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Not bad. How are you, Chad?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well. You know, it's coming hot off a Valheim session, and just love that game. It's great. Missed it. It's been a while since I've been in there.
It's a fantastic game. Highly recommended.
Yep. But yeah, we are talking about video games tonight. So what's playing episode? We're back.
What?
It's been like a month, maybe. It feels like forever, especially.
It's forever for me. I don't know the last time I was on a What's Playing.
I was about to say, it's been a while since Nick's been with us to talk about video games.
It's that crippling freaking Valheim addiction he's got. He gave you shit for League of Legends, and now he's doing it.
Actually,
it's like the typical
summer
dude that,
time.
Yeah,
I'm outside a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
Mike does not go outside.
In Valheim.
Yeah, he's outside in Valheim.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a fun topic for you tonight. I'm excited to get into it. But first, just want to thank our top tier patrons, Tim and Yusuf. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your support. It means the world. And all of our other lovely patrons. You guys rock. Over to patreon.com/boyspodcast. Check it out. Basically, you can financially subscribe to us. There's different price points. Then it's a monthly donation to us, and we in turn give you special perks and benefits and exclusive content and all of that fun stuff. And all that goes to help us out behind the scenes and cover costs like our new website hosting and domain and stuff. So yeah, check it out. If you're interested, sign up. We would appreciate it. But also go visit our website, showboysmedia.com. It's been popping over there. Chad's just writing like a maniac. It's clickety clacking on the keyboard.
Yeah,
put in work.
I think I've only wrote 2 things so far, but yeah, sure. Actually 3, 1 pending currently.
Yeah. I mean, so we kind of went live, and then basically every day since, we've had a blog post, some sort of review or something, which has been pretty cool. Biosif says, I hate that Valheim addiction now. Damn you, Nick. I have that, not hate that.
I was gonna say, I think he said have.
Yeah, I think it was
you
my
just said have.
Yeah,
I think you might have just combined the two.
Yeah, it's a good chance. Yeah, that man is on Valheim 20 hours a day, at least according to Discord.
Once you get to a certain point, really once you kind of see most of the game and you're at a very stable state in that game, skill wise and also gear wise, it becomes a lot less addicting. It's more just a nice passive pastime you have.
I am over Valheim. Yes, Joe. Thank you. So am I.
Joe, you're not.
He only says that because the last time I saw him play, he literally died for 2 hours straight.
Self-inflicted.
I seriously have not laughed that hard watching somebody play a video game in a long time.
Such a good time that
It was great. It was a great stream. Go check out Ugly Kid Joe Cross on Twitch, and check out Biosiv over on Facebook and the Biosiv on Twitch. Great, both great streamers. But yeah, so tonight we are going to revisit the age-old topic of video game adaptations. Because we recently had the amazing Arcane series on Netflix. We have the upcoming HBO Max series, The Last of Us. We've had the Uncharted movie, the Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, I believe that was the name, something along those lines. There are 2 Resident Evil series coming out soon-ish on
Yeah, can we
Netflix.
just stop? Can we stop right there for a second? Did you guys watch the trailer for the one with the dude that plays Silence in Horizon, whatever that guy's name is? I can't remember his name. Did you watch the trailer for it? What'd you think? Yeah. Okay. All right. That's how I felt too. Like when they dropped the synopsis of it, I was like, dude, it sounds horrible. It sounds like they're making a TV show out of the Resident Evil movies that everybody hated.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think I might have been right. That
Yeah,
was kind of
looks like it's going down that path.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're saving budget by just reusing an already written screenplay and script.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, Joe says, so great talking about his stream.
with a period, which almost means that's an angry text from
right. And Bio says, Chad, I wish we could play a game together.
Yeah, I know, man. It's probably never gonna happen, Bio. Sorry, bud.
Oh, this means a lot. Bio says, I take Mike's word on Resident Evil. That's my dude on the topic. Well, thank you, sir. Me and Bio had a fun little bro hang sesh once.
I do want to see that.
I do
want to see that. I think it's out like to rent now.
That was that movie was actually pretty good. Yeah, it seems like video game adaptations are happening, spreading like wildfire. So we thought it'd be fun to each pitch an idea of a game that we would love to see turned into a series or a movie. And then I thought it would be fun to, flip it around and each pitch a game or series that we think would make a great game and like what kind of game and kind of make that pitch. So I'm looking forward to that. Was it hard for you guys to think of a game to turn into a movie or a movie show to turn into a game for this?
Unfortunately, we are not short on video games that turn into movies, and Hollywood knows that, but execute poorly on that all the time.
Yeah.
The other way around, though, is a little more difficult.
Yeah, what do you think, Chad?
I thought it was the opposite, actually. And it might be, I don't know what it was. I felt it much easier to pick out a movie or TV show I'd like to turn into a game than I did for the other one. Which is weird because the second one, the video game into a movie, like you probably know what I'm going to say, but we'll get to it. I stayed away from Game of Thrones, so
whoa,
took
that's my hands shocking.
Off. Yeah. Well, here's the problem.
I thought you were going to take that softball.
Yeah. here's the problem though. I don't know if I'm like placeboing or not placebo, like Mandela affecting myself. Didn't we do an episode like this before? Did that ever happen?
Yes.
Or am I just...
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did an episode where we pitched like a remake or a remaster of a game. Maybe that, I don't know.
It might be.
I think it just came up though. We definitely have talked about Game of Thrones video game.
I feel like that's
what that would be.
Yeah, I feel like it came up somewhere. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go a totally different direction.
And
it's
I'm excited now.
It's a total selfish direction too. I have to admit. Like I'm probably the only one that really wants this game out there, but it's fine. That's what we're here for, right?
Exactly. That makes me excited. I'm really anxious to hear what you're going to say, but
don't get too excited.
It's probably some anime or something. No,
don't get too excited though.
Oh, okay. I found the game to a movie or series. Like I could think of like 30 of those, like right on the spot right now. But it took me like all day today to figure out what game or what movie or show I would like to turn into a game. Because it's like all my favorite shows or movies pretty much have a game like that covers that like genre or whatever. It's like my favorite show, Mr. Robot. You have Watch Dogs, like
right. Yeah.
So that one took a little while, but I think I came up with something interesting. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think the reason that I had such an easy time with the video game to movie thing is because of the path of movie or TV show that I took, and we'll see, you'll see when we get there what I mean. I feel like there's a colossal amount of video games that can be turned into this form of entertainment.
Nice. We also put the question out there to you guys on Discord, so that'll be fun to talk about. You wanna like, flip the show on its
Crack 'em
head.
out now.
Let's start with our Discord people with the Answer the Boys. We usually save them for the end, but let's do them up front here. So Kumano Dadan, he says, I would have to say I would like to see a Skyrim series. I believe it would do well on Netflix or HBO Max. As for a show I'd like to see as a game, I would love to play Into the Badlands from Netflix as a game. I want to go around breaking necks.
Yeah, that'd be a cool one for sure.
So like with Skyrim, I never really got into Skyrim. The only Elder Scrolls stuff I really got into was ESO. Is there like a main character you follow, or like, because that just seems like a sim basically?
Yeah, I played I played a good chunk of it on the Switch, and then a really big chunk of it on the PlayStation 4, the remaster that came out. And to be honest with you, like it was like almost disturbingly close to Game of Thrones in various segments. So I think the show's already there for Skyrim. Like I guess the world would be different, obviously, but there's a lot of there's just a lot of elements in Skyrim that I was like, holy crap, dude! Like it almost seems like Game of Thrones ripped this right out of the game. But
yeah, I mean, there's obviously you're very simulation like, but there is a general story around your character no matter what you play as. So like you're the Dragonborn, and that plays heavily into a lot of mechanics in the game and a lot of story elements. So it's like very open-ended RPG.
Yeah. And I feel like those would be the most difficult to turn into a movie or a TV show, like an open-ended. Like I know that Mass Effect sounds like on paper it would transition well to a series, but I feel like they could really screw it up. You know what I mean? Because
that's why I watched
The Expanse. Right. Yeah. You might as well go watch The Expanse. Exactly.
Right. Which was a series that I was like, man, that'd be a cool game. And I'm like, oh wait, Mass Effect.
Yeah, Mass Effect already exists.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say The Expanse, but I was like, okay, Starfield, like, No Man's Sky, like just pick your space survival simulator.
I did see No Man's Sky is coming to Switch, which has me very excited because I feel like that's a perfect freaking Switch game.
Yeah.
Now I think like aren't there cool, like I'm sure like with every open world RPG or MMO, there's really cool like side quests and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Side arcs in Skyrim.
How you would do Skyrim is you would do like there's like factions and stuff. So like you would do the Dark Brotherhood series, something like that.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is there like a cool side arc that you could?
Oh, there's multiple. Yeah.
Tons.
Nice. Well, that's great. Thanks, Kumano. By the way, he's another great streamer. He's very entertaining. Yeah. You should go check him out on Twitch. Thanks. Into the Badlands, though. I had never seen this, but isn't this kind of like a samurai-ish?
Yeah, it's like a futuristic
samurai adjacent.
Yeah. It's like I think the only parallels to samurai is the main character fights with a katana, really. But I see where a lot of people say that. I have never watched it. I watched a trailer a couple times. It looks really cool. I just never got around to watching it.
Nice.
But yeah, I think it's like in a futuristic, post-apocalyptic, like no guns world.
Nice. Joe says solitaire, one man, one deck.
That's such a Joe
one
answer.
Objective. Yeah,
of course he picks a card game, right?
Yeah. Biosif says, No Man's Sky wouldn't be good on Switch. How would you enjoy playing online with friends on the go with the garbage chat system?
Yeah, that's true.
Nintendo has a chat system?
I didn't even know that. But to be honest with you, I didn't even know that No Man's Sky had online, because when I played it, it certainly did not have online play.
Oh yeah, it's Space Valheim now.
Really? I know that game took like a huge, and I revisited it like a year ago maybe. It took a huge turn from release.
Yeah,
but I'm never and you know this, I'm never the kind of person that goes and seeks out any kind of multiplayer form of game, or in a game, I don't look for the multiplayer stuff. So I didn't even know it was there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, my answer to that, Civ, is don't.
Yeah, true.
What are
Next up,
friends?
Ugly Kid Joe Cross. Aside from Solitaire, his suggestion in Discord, I would like to see a Rabbids crossover with the Minions, which Biosiv also feels the same way. We had a little Facebook chat about this. Metroid would be cool too. Also, a Horizon series would be great. Making a show into a game is much more difficult. Possibly a Nightmare on Elm Street game or Final Destination. Yeah, Rabbids and Minions crossover would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Biosiv pitched that to me when I started streaming Mario and Rabbids Kingdom, and I was cracking up at that idea. But let's talk about a Horizon series.
Yeah,
That
let's
would
talk
be
about it.
rad.
It's coming. So they've already announced that they're working on it. The name of the series is Horizon 2074, whatever year the society falls. So it's seemingly going to take place during
Before
that.
Aloy.
That's
Before
awesome.
Aloy, which is really cool because that we don't get a lot. I mean, we get a lot of that in the games, but we don't see a lot of what happened. So yeah, that's super cool. I was just reading about it the other day. I don't know if it's in pre-production or if they're filming or what stage it's at.
See, the fact that Horizon would make a better movie trilogy than it would a series, especially if you're going to be doing like when the society falls. Like, I think that just would make a better movie trilogy than it would a series. Just because it's so grand and so like vibrant.
Yeah, that's
you can't pack that into like a series as well.
Yeah, that's valid, definitely.
Because I am kind of getting series burnout.
Series, but you're like the series dude, aren't you?
Wow.
Yeah, you're like the anti-movie guy.
Yeah.
Well, no, so
he's just like anti everything apparently.
Yeah. I like good series. Like good series, that's my go-to. I like a good series over a good movie. But like Disney right now is in the perfect trap. All they do is make series, and the movies are just like so few and far between. The fact that they have like completely did a 180, and for every 3 series there's only like 1 movie, if you think about it, like that's a complete shift, and it's just too hard in the paint right now. Especially when we're looking at things that would make better movies.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of lean on that, especially if you're kind of talking like a new IP like that. But here's the problem with video game movies is for some reason they look like they should be a show on TV because they look so bad.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I agree completely. The good news is that I believe it's coming to Netflix. Netflix is the one they're doing it, and we know damn well, and we'll talk about it later when we get into my stuff, they can nail the video game stuff. They did it with Castlevania. They've done it with multiple different things. The Witcher, even though that's a book series. But yeah, they announced it, I think, back at the beginning of the summer, like May, maybe. That was coming, as well as God of War and Gran Turismo, of all things, to make a series out of. That's getting
Gran
a series.
Turismo will be part of the double feature of Solitaire at the drive-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will admit, have you guys ever seen Need for Speed, the movie?
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, it's like a guilty
Kid Cudi's
pleasure.
In that, isn't he?
Maybe
Kid Cudi's in that.
Maybe it's got Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
Yep.
He's got really small hands. I don't know why that sticks out to me every time I see him. They're just like obnoxiously small. I don't know if it's just like an angle thing or what. But anyway, getting off track.
Little baby
that movie is. I love that movie, and a lot of people hate it. I don't know why. I think it's a good car movie. Like,
I feel like back to the whole should Horizon be a series or a movie trilogy. I think if you're going to go the route of exploring pre-game lore, a series would be cool. Build it up into the events of the game, slap a movie trilogy for like Horizon Zero Dawn, and then Horizon Forbidden West, or whatever, and then whatever the eventual third game will be. But yeah,
Have
I don't know.
Legendary do it.
That's exciting, and I think that like the idea of exploring non-game lore in game adaptations probably is the safest route to go to not disappoint fans.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because I think where all these adaptations fall short is they try, like the Resident Evil games, like they tried to reimagine the story of the games.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's not why we like the games. That's not why we were excited about getting a movie franchise for Resident Evil, is because we wanted to see those stories
Yeah,
in
exactly.
live action.
Exactly. Well, I think it's that, and they pick in my opinion, the worst games to try to transition into. Like Mortal Kombat just does not transition into a movie. Like it's got too weird of a story. It's a freaking fighting game.
Yeah.
So even though I'm again totally partial to the '90s Mortal Kombat movie, I think it's great because I saw it when I was a kid and thought it was awesome.
Mhm.
Just not a game I would pick. Super Mario, like, come on, dude, that '90s Mario,
Right.
but like, what the hell?
The Koopas are
Yeah.
so freaking
Oh my
weird.
gosh, dude.
Biosiv says, I agree with Nick, especially since you won't be portraying Aloy. That's the movie trilogy idea. Joe says, I did not know that. My finger must be off the pulse. If only there were a place I could go to find out information on these things.
Hey. Yeah, there's like a whole crew list and everything for it. You can go read about it. It sounds interesting. I just want them to hurry up through this so that what's her face can play Aloy.
Yes.
Ingrid from whatever her name is.
Rose Leslie.
Yeah, Rose Leslie playing Aloy. I'm all for it.
Perfect fit.
By the time they get there, she'll be playing like the old Aloy.
Yeah.
the matriarch or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Mega Man movie.
Okay, yeah. Here, let's break this down for a second because I think Mega Man is perfect for a cartoon. Again, they've screwed up cartoons in the past. They just had one like a couple years ago that came out, Mega Man Unloaded or Loaded or something. Can't remember what it was called, but screwed it up. The '90s one is awesome. If you find it on YouTube and you're a Mega Man fan, go watch those animated '90s Mega Man series. It's phenomenal. But yeah, I thought I had heard that Netflix was doing a live action Mega Man. That's not as 100% in my brain as the Horizon thing is. That might be false, but again, not something I'd want a live action for. That's that Super Mario, Mortal Kombat, those are animated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Biosys says Mega Man Legends movie. He also says Mortal Kombat was cool. Annihilation was garbage.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I would love to. I would totally watch Horizon. And then the show and a game, Nightmare on Elm Street or Final Destination would be interesting. Wonder what the idea exactly is, like gameplay wise, game type wise.
Basically,
it's
first
like
Resident Evil.
What's the game where you basically play as Jason, a Jason type character?
Manhunt.
There's the Quarry, but there's also like a multiplayer game.
Friday the 13th. There's a Friday the 13th game
where you play as Jason.
Biosiv, you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. Yes, moving on. Rachel's Holiday, she says, maybe this sounds super lame, but I think Emily in Paris could be a really fun first-person perspective game with multiple modes of play similar to Assassin's Creed. I'm not familiar with Emily in Paris, but I believe Assassin's Creed at some point visits Paris, right? So, yeah, sure. See, Biosiv coming in clutch. 7 Days to Die. He's got my back.
Best bros.
My wife watched Emily in Paris, I believe. Yeah, that'd be
this is a show.
Yeah.
I was thinking I thought she was talking about there's a game. Have you guys ever heard of a game called, I think it's Emily is Away, and it takes place entirely in an AIM chat box the entire game. It's like you're just typing on AIM, and it's like a text game basically, but it's super cool. If you guys grew up in the 90s using AIM, you'll love it because it's like a total rip on it.
Nice. I just want to make an announcement. I feel privileged. I just got Tim. I'm not even gonna. I'll just call him Tim B from Funny Science Fiction Podcast. I just got his cell phone number. He just gave me his digits, yo.
Look at you.
Mike out here getting
Gave
them
me his
digits.
digits.
Get ghosted.
Yeah.
We're gonna just rub it in. Just rub it in every chance.
Soon, dude.
Nick with the bangers every time.
Wow. All right.
I'll just go on mute.
You
for the
just
rest of the
did that
episode.
to you just did that to him like Monday. The news.
What'd I do?
You brought up the. You
Oh,
brought it up. You brought
yeah.
up the sore subject.
I need to
Just put me on the bottom and I'll go on mute.
get a tissue, dry my tears. Jerk. Biosiv says, I would love a Paramount movie of Metal Gear Solid. I think a cinematic telling of Solid Snake's story from the beginning would be excellent. Half-Life would need to be a movie as well, probably released on Netflix. Same with Half-Life 2. Then they could do a spin-off of Portal as a show. Oh, it's interesting. Last is Mass Effect as an HBO Max or Netflix show, several seasons, and make it as raunchy as The Witcher.
Your bio.
He's on fire.
You're getting a lot of these though. You're getting Metal Gear. I don't think that it's Paramount, unfortunately. So if that was like the what you needed out of the movie, I don't think it's Paramount. Sony Pictures, obviously. And Mass Effect you're getting, right?
I think
you're getting
Mass
an
Effect's
Amazon
a Prime
series
thing, right?
Or Prime, yeah. So you're getting.
Oh, so they're
Mass
just going.
Effect?
They're just reusing the Expanse set.
Yeah.
pieces.
There's
Yep.
like, hey, we got all these leftover like
Hey, James
spaceship
Holden.
props.
Yeah, might as well.
James Holden can just play Shepard. Just he should. He really should.
I
Dude,
mean,
that would be.
it would work.
Yeah, he looks just like him, the generic, just like white guy
Yeah.
hero.
I agree with Bio on Metal Gear Solid. I think Metal Gear Solid hopefully is going to be very good. Oscar Isaac playing Solid Snake
yeah.
sounds awesome. We'll see how it
busy.
pans out. You know,
We're fans of the Oscar.
yeah.
Yeah. Great suggestions.
He has a movie on HBO called like the Card Counter or something.
Yeah, I
like
saw that. I watched the trailer for it. It didn't look nearly as good as I thought it was going to. But
That's actually
cover
the
looks
Solitaire movie.
Yeah, that's the Solitaire movie.
Yeah.
Joe, you're getting that too.
One man, one deck, one.
I was
objective.
hoping it was going to. Have you guys ever seen 21?
Yeah.
Okay,
Think so.
I love that freaking movie for whatever reason. So I was hoping that it would be kind of similar to that, and it's not. It doesn't really even look like it's about counting cards.
It's an odd
So-
title.
Yeah,
Boo. It's almost like what the description's about too.
about
It's actually like
counting
a love
cards.
story.
Yeah, it looked weird. You have to watch the trailer.
The rest of Civ's comment, he says, on the inverse, I would love to play a Breaking Bad or Ozark game released by Telltale Games. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention The Boys and the Hideo Kojima story because that would have been phenomenal.
What's the point of Telltale Games there? What do they do?
Telltale
dead.
Games
They're
are like
dead.
the comic-y version, like Detroit Become Human style gameplay where it's
Gotcha.
narrative choice driven, just kind of like an interactive story. You're just kind of walking around.
Ozark would be rad as that.
Yeah, both
for sure. Both
Ozark
of
and
them.
Breaking Bad would be really, really good.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did The Walking Dead. They did Game of Thrones one that I do actually really want to play. It's got I think the cast came and did the voices for them.
Really?
Yeah.
They
We
had
should play that just because we're watching it.
Right. It seems like I'm looking for all these games that are similar to Game of Thrones. Maybe I should actually play the Game of Thrones game. But
there you go.
I think, and I could be wrong, but I think Telltale is defunct.
Oh,
I don't think they're going to be coming out with any more games. So
just give it to Quantum Dream or Quantic Dream, whatever.
yeah, similar setup, just less cartoony animations. You know.
Yeah, Telltale, they did like Thief of Thieves, which was a Robert Kirkman comic series. So it's pretty good. I think they did a Borderlands one.
They did do a Borderlands one.
They had
did
The Wolf Among Us.
Wolf Among Us, yeah.
They had quite a few. Like Bio says, they had a couple Batman ones.
Oh yeah, I do want to play the Batman ones because those were
And-
supposed to be really good. Oh
We're
no.
We're just getting our hearts broken tonight,
Yeah,
Bio.
Wikipedia says October 11th, 2018. 3 years ago, they were defunct. So
Wolf Among Us 2 is coming. Well, that's awkward.
I don't think that it is, bro. But maybe from a different studio.
This is why this is such a hard subject, because
Yeah.
it's just like the perilous waters to navigate to make
It
any
is.
of this happen in either direction.
It is.
Yeah. That covers the answer to the boys from Discord. Thank you guys so much for chiming in. And hey, we're only half hour in. We still gotta get through our pitches. So if any more ideas pop up, you just throw them in the stream chat there. We'll throw them up on screen and we'll have a little chatty about them. But yeah, who wants to start with the game to a movie or series pitch? Any takers?
I'm just reading about this Game of Thrones role-playing game on Steam. Mostly positive.
Wait,
And
the Telltale one?
no. Cyanide Studios came out in 2012.
I watched a video that was like the best Game of Thrones games, and there was one on there that looked really, really interesting. So it might be the one that you're talking about there.
It's just so bizarre because like it's mostly positive. So, but this first review is kind of like, I'm a fan of the show and books. So, like you, Chad, you'd probably just enjoy this for the pure sake. It's
Right.
about Game of Thrones. But he goes like, the first is like the negative points. Graphics not so good. Buggy, seems unfinished. Like it's just
Yeah,
kind
a
of
lot of
already
fanboy
concerned.
reviews.
Yep.
But it's
Oh,
great. Yeah. Who knows? Interesting. I'll have to. I just really thought there were none.
Game of Thrones games?
Yeah.
None
There's
that
nothing
you
that
want.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the better way of saying it. Like there's nothing that we envision in our heads Game of Thrones would transition really well to, like a Skyrim or something like Witcher. There's
Yeah.
nothing like that, unfortunately.
Well, while we're on the topic, I'll take that softball and I'll catch that. And I think I've talked about this before, but seriously, and there's a reason why. I need a Game of Thrones 4X game, like Total War style, like the
Ooh.
armies, the cities, like the maps all in place. Like it would just be
Oh, yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's so annoying that this doesn't exist is because there's mods out there for like every 4X game that lets this like kind of happen, but it's always like imperfect and it's not there. But like you got people out there pouring their time to make these mods as good as they can when you're just like, someone make a game.
Right.
And they sit around making Warhammer like 3, like all these Warhammer Total War games when everyone wants like a different Warhammer series, even though not Warhammer, but Total War, like Warhammer's super popular, but that's not what I want out of a Total War game. I want like people versus people.
Right.
Not like all these monsters and mythical stuff.
Yeah.
So to me, Total War should somehow just be like, instead of making Warhammer 4, just make Game of Thrones 1.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think it would really
Total
transition
War,
the
Westeros.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be and there's a lot of these newer 4X games like Humankind, Old World. Old World, I think, would an Old World with like a lot of Total War mechanics, because in like Old World, what they did is they introduced like basically your character, right? The leader of the nation is part of a family and like they die. So you have to make sure you have heirs in place to make sure you can keep playing the game.
Oh, that's cool.
So if they did some really cool mechanics around that with Game of Thrones, where it's like people like over the years, like people got to make sure families stay intact. And like, obviously if you like kill a whole family, like it becomes so dynamic. So there's just been so many cool mechanics in these 4X games where I'm just like, put that into a Game of Thrones one. Like, please.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be really cool. I really want to get and I haven't played Risk in like literal
Yeah.
decades, but I really want to get the Game of Thrones Risk. I think it would be so freaking fun.
That
But
would
yeah,
be
I
sweet.
think it would transition really well to that type of game. It's there. Like they don't even have to do anything. They just set the houses up and it takes care of itself. So it's
nuts.
odd.
There's
It's
a
odd
map,
that
locations,
yeah,
prefix cities.
it's all there. It's odd that because we keep getting like DLC for games that are totally unrelated to the game. Like we're getting like Spider-Man DLC for Fortnite, for example. It's
Yeah.
weird that none of those games are getting like a Game of Thrones or a Lord of the Rings or a Witcher or whatever kind of DLC.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
The 12-year-olds aren't into that stuff.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. I mean, we are though.
True.
Dude,
We're the one paying all the dang
yeah.
costs of
Right.
just real booming over here.
Yeah, it's just like it'd sell like hotcakes, dude. Like I think the one game that I'm going to talk about, and it's funny that you brought up mods too, because that mine kind of takes that into account also. Like some of these mods, dude. Like if a studio picked this crap up and actually did something with it,
Yeah.
they would be selling games left and right. But they
Yeah.
just, I don't know what it is, man. It's
I
odd.
wonder if like the license cost is just
Figure it out.
through the roof. And there's like, I don't know if it's worth it.
Maybe, but think of all of the like really great IPs that just threw the like video game rights at some bullshit studio and made just some real lackluster game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they obviously
Mhm.
gave these game rights away to some publishers to make these
That's true. That's
these
true.
games, so it's not like they're locked in a. They're you can get to them.
Yeah.
And especially
Great
and
point.
back to the mods too. Like if you look like for like Civilization mods, like when people make mods that are like, I think there's a Game of Thrones one, there's like a Star Wars one, but these are very popular mods on like on the mod store, in the community pages. So like there's people out there that want to play them, and I would
Yeah.
buy a game like that just for the pure sake that it is Game of Thrones and it puts all those elements in a game for me.
Yeah, you got to think though that the licensing thing isn't that big of a deal because they're going to be making their money back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially with something as big as Game of Thrones, like Spider-Man for Insomniac. Whatever they spent on that, I almost guarantee they made double probably what they spent to get that. I did just see EA's getting a Marvel game, which sounds like makes me kind of want to rip my hair out a little bit. That's like the word, like, oh god.
Yeah.
But they did do Fallen Order, so it's fine. But yeah, I don't know what the holdup with the Game of Thrones stuff is, man. It's like people.
It almost seems like it's not on who owns the IP is what it seems like. It seems like there isn't like a very reputable developer willing to take it on is almost what it seems like.
Yeah, and that could be the case 100%, which is maybe even odder than the other way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's got to be one of these 4X developers out there that can't compete with the bigger ones that would be like, hey, let's pick this up. Maybe this will give us the ability to compete with Total War and whatever else is
and
at
the
the
other
top, you know?
Yeah, and that's a good point there too, is then you think of Paradox, if you're familiar with them, they make a god awful amount of 4X games. Like they have so many. It's kind of like daunting. Why wouldn't they, when you're talking about a developer that just makes 4X games, like that's Paradox. Like why doesn't Paradox just, hey, let's just slap Game of Thrones over top one of our 24X games and call it a day?
Yeah, right.
I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Maybe there's an article out there I can read.
I don't want to freak you guys out, but I'm doing the standing desk approach right now.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Do you have a standing desk?
No.
Yeah, why though?
Just I literally sit at this chair like 8 hours a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm tired of sitting.
Okay.
I actually used to record episodes like this before we live stream them, and it was nice. It was a nice little switch up.
You got modest when we went live stream, and you said to sit down. You're like,
I was like, I gotta sit down. Don't want to make anyone feel weird. That time's over. Sorry.
Now that I can see your ceiling, that's where I feel most weird about. Is I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really weird that that we haven't received a good, decent Game of Thrones game. There are so many options of genres that you can go with. I didn't
Yeah,
even
that
think of
too.
like a 4X RTS game, but that would be amazing.
The whole
Yeah.
RPG like become human thing, like if they could do that, like that would be
Yeah.
sweet. Like you just wandering about King's Landing, like making decisions and dying all the time,
Yeah.
and like that's
Well,
where
I
you
think
lose. Like you just
I
ran
think
into the
that's
wrong odd circumstances and you got stabbed in a brothel. Damn it.
yeah, yeah, that would be cool. That is kind of what Telltale does, not to that extent, obviously, but it is a decision based. All their games
Yeah.
are set up very similar to Detroit and Heavy Rain and all that stuff. It's just gotten more cartoony approach to it.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing that it was decent, not as good as the Walking Dead one. I love the Walking Dead one. Unfortunately, I think they're best played on the iPad for whatever reason. That's probably just where I played The Walking Dead first, so I think it just transitions the best to a touchscreen. Game of Thrones never made it to mobile for whatever reason, so I can't play it on there. I'll probably have to buy it on the PlayStation, but I really should play it because I find myself complaining that there's no Game of Thrones games out there when there's one staring me in the face every time that I talk about it. But
and like that's a reputable, developer that's put out a bunch of really good games already. So I'm sure that it'll be a fun play and entertaining at the least.
And the other kicker on the Game of Thrones specifically, that topic, is there is no shortage of video games that are like Game of Thrones. Like you have Chivalry and all those like first person medieval combat ones. Like just get it and be Game of Thrones and we can, just run around, or any of these survival. I don't know. Like
there was one I was just looking at, and let me look up the name of it. I think it's called
or even when you guys are playing Triangle Strategy.
Yeah.
Like just make a 2D game about Game of Thrones. Like it
would
like,
be
awesome. Killing me.
Yeah. I mean, just go listen to the Patreon episode. Well, you have to sign up for Patreon, but you should do that and listen to the Triangle Strategy episode because we did talk about the similarities to Game of Thrones, and even we're comparing characters from the game to their counterpart in the show.
Yeah.
Even a simple 2D game like with the gameplay of Triangle Strategy, just slap Game of Thrones skins on there and the actual story of Game of Thrones, and it's perfect.
Yeah, it really is, dude. It could transition to so many different. I mean, it could transition to freaking horror games. Also, we're not quite there, but there's so many different categories that Game of Thrones could go into, and all of them would be great. I personally, I don't play 4X that much. The game that I was talking about is Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. If you go check that game out, it looks really, really cool. It's a PC only game, I think. But I don't play 4X games that often, so I would want like a Witcher style open world because I just think it'd be awesome to like go up to the wall and visit the wall and then go down.
That honestly is like the perfect style of game for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is still that's probably what's most mind blowing is like you have the perfect
it's there
game genre and format already there. You don't have to like reinvent the wheel.
Right. And it's a bummer because The Witcher has the same setup. They were originally books and they got turned into a video game. So you could easily do that with Game of Thrones and just follow The Witcher. And I was kind of hoping that by some strike of lightning that CD Projekt Red was going to pick it up in some way and do a Game of Thrones game. Unfortunately, they announced another Witcher game, which is fine because it's basically Game of Thrones anyway with monsters in it. But just like, going to the wall, going to King's Landing, going to Winterfell, exploring what it just would transition so good to an open world action RPG, I think. Especially if there's multiple characters you can pick from, multiple houses, different stories. It would sell like hotcakes. I mean, I don't get it.
And that's the thing I appreciate about The Witcher is like the rules about where you're at, like depending on the zone. Like if you're in a city, like you generally walk slower. You can't like move as freely, right? They really do a good job of capturing the fact that like, it's a lot different to play the game in the cities than it is to play it out in the open world. Because obviously, like if you're out in the open world in Game of Thrones, you're like on your horse, you're running from people, you're fighting. It's a lot more fast paced than when you're in the city. Like you're walking around with your hands in your robe and like
Yeah.
you're bumping into people and
Yeah.
a guard tells you like can't go here.
Yeah.
The mechanics change so much, and I think that would be lend itself so well to Game of Thrones because
Yeah.
that's how it is in the show where you do have areas where it's very action packed and it's a very different game than you have like generally the cities where it's much more laid back.
Right.
I would love to hang out at Castle Black and just be like just
Yeah.
be a mason or whatever and just
Yeah.
like just fixing up the castle.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
All right. So we're starting with the movie or series into a game pitch. So Chad, what's your movie or series that you would love to see made into a video game?
All right, you're gonna have to stick with me here, okay?
All right.
Because I kind of didn't pick a specific. I did pick a specific thing, but now that I'm thinking about it, it could be any movie. I picked The Shield, or Training Day, or Southland, or any LA police show. Primarily the crooked ones, because that would make for a better game. But so basically my setup is it's a modern day LA noir, which is what LA noir should have been from the get-go. And you start as like a beat cop in LA. You could even make it, and we'll get into this a little bit because I do want to talk about it. There is a very extensive Grand Theft Auto mod where you play as a police officer.
Oh, yeah, I think you've talked about it before.
And it's amazing how deep this mod is, dude. Like these guys are nailing it, I think. Obviously, it's janky like any mod. But if you get it running smoothly, it's so cool, dude. You get 911 calls, you get to pull over people, you can search their cars, you can run them for warrants, you can, sometimes they'll take off on you and run, and you can call backup and helicopters. It's super cool. So I just don't understand why nobody wants to take this. And I think LA Noire sold really good. So I don't understand. I think the problem is the studio that helped them make that, Team Bondi, maybe, if I remember that correctly. I think they're defunct now as well. But basically, you set it up as you start as like a beat cop, and then you transition through different phases of the police department. So you go robbery, homicide, yada, yada, yada. But in that system, you have like something from like a Paragon system from Mass Effect, where you can either go on this side of the blue line, if you will, or this side of the blue line. And then your story transitions as you're going through it. I also, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I like it.
Yeah. And I think it would also be really cool that each time you get to a different desk, you meet like your partner, maybe at this desk is a crooked cop who tries to get you to do screwed up crap. And then you can kind of pick your path left or right if you want to stay the straight and narrow, or if you want to follow your partner. And then the next one, you get like a straight-laced dude who tries to correct you. I think it'd be so cool. Even if there's multiple characters. I loved LA Noire. I'm like a huge LA Noire fan. I've played it on every iteration that it's ever been on, including the Switch, which I think is great. But I just want it in modern day, like the 40s Los Angeles. It's cool. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. But
you want the interactive cutscene where you find like 46 bodies in the
exactly. And that's another one. Like I was gonna put End of Watch on here. Like just something. I just need some sort of cool police game that isn't Grand Theft Auto modded, because while that is amazing, and there's a lot of cool stuff that you can add into it, including voiced cuts, like voiced segments and everything. It's just not the cinematic level that I'm looking for, and the story level that I'm looking. There's no story, right?
Yeah.
You don't rank up through or anything like that.
I would want that to be completely like almost a lot like interactive cutscenes, right? Where it's just like very tense, dynamic that way, where like you're basically doing very little in terms of like movement, but like it's just all about the camera and the choices you make, and just make that very seamless. I think that would be good. That's the problem with Grand Theft Auto, because the way the character movement is, the way you interact with the environment, it's just not immersive like that.
Right.
It's still very much cutscene or gameplay.
Yeah.
Whereas like you need something, once again, we'll say it, Detroit Become Human, like something like that, where it's very immersed and seamless to like your interactions. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Or even and
That game.
even like the first Resident Evil, like as much as I was ragging on that game, like those elements of like a video game where it's more like a mystery and like a puzzle and like stuff like that. Like,
Well, yeah.
dude, a crime scene investigation, like where there's like parts of the game where it's like that, and you're just trying to figure out like what's going on. Like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you didn't find the back room full of like bodies and all that stuff, and that matters in the story whether you found that or you didn't find that.
Honestly, you should play Detroit because
I'm gearing up to. I think
it's there. You play. There's 3 characters you play with, 3 arcs that end up, kind of crossing paths. But one of the arcs you play as an android, like detective for better, more or less. And like the very first scene of the game, you walk into a crime scene and you have to kind of investigate the environment and piece what was going on together before you go and interact with, like, you're sent there to negotiate on behalf of the police. But if you're not paying attention and being like, oh, I should go check out that corner over there, like, you could just walk straight to the negotiations and miss all the evidence to help you build your story. And then that, of course, makes it much harder for you to have a successful negotiation. So, like, yeah, dude, if they had some sort of like combination of that Detroit style choice like system with a more traditional, like, I don't know, I don't even know what kind of cop gameplay there is that exists out there, but if you could have like an
basically
open
Uncharted.
world Red Dead Redemption type like gameplay, but then have the system of choices and investigation like there is in Detroit, that would be pretty rad.
I think. Well, here's the thing. It everything that you're describing is LA Noire, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%. For my purposes, I want it modern day, but LA Noire is. I thought it struck the perfect combo of those cinematic moments that Nick is talking about with the Grand Theft Auto open world chase scenes and that kind of stuff, because it is open world, but it's not Grand Theft Auto open world. There's really nothing to do in the world besides driving to different locations. But the game, and I assume neither of you have played LA Noire.
Dude, it's $6 on Steam.
Dude, 150% worth $6. So you start as like a beat cop and you transition your way through different desks. And it's the same concept that I'm setting up here. You start with traffic, and then I think homicide, and then robbery, and then yada yada yada. But in those desks, you have different investigations. So the traffic, you have car accidents. Some of them end up being murders, that kind of stuff. But what's really cool about LA Noire is their interrogation system and their questioning system. By today's standards, going back to it, it might look a little funky. Back in the day, dude, the facial animations on these characters are insane. They spent probably
2011.
Yeah, they probably spent 80% of their budget focusing on facial animation. So you can literally tell when someone's lying to you by the way their face is moving.
Nice.
But it doesn't matter if you can tell they're lying, because if you didn't comb the crime scene to find your evidence to prove that they were lying, it doesn't matter. You're going to get screwed over. And you can put the wrong people in jail. You can screw up the cases. I mean, there's a lot of different things.
Oh,
that all set on a 1940s Los Angeles backdrop, which is super cool. If you love LA Confidential, like, this is your game, 100%. It's got that cool 40s flair to it. A lot of mystery with soldiers coming back from World War II and all kinds of stuff, dude. I love LA Noire. I would love for them to make a modern version of this where we're playing, and it doesn't need to be in LA, really. If it's somewhere else, I'll take it. That's fine. When I think of cop dramas, LA is like what I think of, because it's, Hollywood's there. That's where they're all at, all the cop dramas for the most part. So
I immediately go to Fargo. The
Fargo,
the craziest place to be a cop.
Yeah. You guys should definitely check it out, especially for $6, dude. Like that's a freaking
It's 40
steal of a
bucks on the
lifetime.
PlayStation Store.
Yeah,
That's
40?
sad. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the regular.
Steam.
That's
It's 20
so
on Steam.
the PlayStation one is the remaster, Nick.
Mm.
That's why it's $40. They remastered it a couple
Oh
years
yeah, it
ago.
would have been what, PlayStation 3?
It was a PlayStation 3 game originally. Yes. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it came out 2011. Yeah, 2 years before Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. So it is it's that perfect splice of cinematic stuff that you're looking for, because really you're driving through the world from location to location. You can pick up 911 calls as they come in. People, cops asking for help and stuff, and go do that. But for the most part, there's not a whole lot to interact with in the world as far as an open world. It's really going to like witnesses' houses, interrogating families. But dude, it's cool, man. There's a bunch of different cases spreading multiple different desks, including arson. The arson desk is really, really cool. The homicide one is awesome because it's like a serial killer mystery over a couple of cases that's kind of draws inspiration from the Black Dahlia murder, if you know what that is, back in the 40s, with a amazing twist in it. So yeah, for $6, steal. For 40, I'd pick it up for $40, to be honest with you. But it's really nice. What it, as you were describing it, both of you, I was like, it already
exists, guys.
It already exists. But that being said, taking LSPDFR, which is the Grand Theft Auto mod, Rockstar pulling their heads out of their asses and reeling. Everybody does this on Grand Theft Auto games. This has been LSPDFR has been a thing on San Andreas, maybe. Definitely Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5 is huge modding. What am I trying to look for here? Huge amount of people love this thing, especially on 4. And then when it came to 5, it blew up. You can go look up videos. There are little YouTubers that are dedicated to just playing this game, just rocking, because you can put in real cars, real outfits, all kinds of stuff. But taking that gameplay with a AAA studio instead of a modding group, not to say that they're not doing a great job, because they are doing a great job. Right. It just obviously
you just get that polish, and
you would get that polish and a story behind it. And I know that I've talked about it a bunch of times before, where I think it would be really cool for, if we're going to continue the multiple characters in Grand Theft Auto, for one of those characters to be a cop that's chasing the other characters.
Yeah.
It's like classic telling the story of Heat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where you got the two different stories going at the same time. Den of Thieves, the newer robbery one. Yeah, just be so cool, dude. Like, come on. Rockstar, what are you doing, man? You put out an awesome detective game. I understand your partners like went defunct, but let's not leave this beautiful little gem the way it is. I need
Team
more.
Bondi.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're defunct, but which is odd.
That's 3 that's come up tonight. Rest in peace. Need to pull one out for these studios.
But I thought, because they remastered this game not too long ago, literally maybe 2017?
2017 is what the PlayStation Store says is release.
So I thought that they were gauging interest for a sequel, which in my mind, I'm like, why the hell are they remastering LA Noire out of the blue when we haven't touched Grand Theft Auto 4? At the time, we hadn't touched any of their older Grand Theft Auto games. Like, why randomly are they like, let's remaster LA Noire? Like, I thought they were gauging interest.
Still are, their timelines.
And I did my part because I bought it on PS4 and Switch. I was like, hell yeah, I'll give you the interest level.
And shocking.
Yeah, right.
Studios wish everyone was like Chad.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's amazing. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, honestly, like, if you like that detective stuff in Detroit, Mike, you would love LA Noire. Because it's a deep. I mean, I haven't played Detroit. I might have played that segment that you were talking about, because it's early in the game, right?
Yeah, it's literally
maybe the first
thing you do.
Maybe this will be my big my big streaming breakout. I'm gonna stream
There you
L.A.
go.
Noir.
Oh,
Woohoo,
dude,
do it.
that'd be an awesome stream game for sure.
Man,
For sure.
do it.
Yeah.
No, I'll write a review
Yeah.
on it.
Also do it. Just do it all.
I think you'd love it, Nick, to be honest with you, especially listening to you break down what you want. I mean, it's right there. It's just unfortunately it's stuck in 1940s Los Angeles. So
And
if you're into that,
and the price point I want is on Steam. That means I have to sit in my chair.
yeah. But you're a detective. You got to sit in a chair.
Yeah, just pretend like it's your desk. I mean, it is your desk, but
It
like
is your desk.
detective desk.
Yeah.
This is my desk. This is my desk.
Um,
I guess
that's
I
awesome.
could. They also have that. Can you like cast games to your TV too?
You know,
Or
I
do you
think they
need
made this
something?
one thing. What's it called, Chad? Steam Deck.
Yeah.
What's
that
the
you can get.
mobile version? I want on a TV.
Just plug your computer into your TV.
You don't have an HDMI cable or a hookup in your computer?
That's ghetto.
How is that ghetto? It's literally in the back of your computer. It's not.
But I have to run an HDMI cable from my computer all the way to my TV.
I mean, yes.
No,
Or you can move your computer over to your TV. And
that's not
record
an
one.
option if you've ever seen my desk.
No,
Okay.
his desk is basically like a Megatron.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I got-
moving his tower would be like ripping Megatron's heart out of his chest.
There's literally a cable. Like I have a bundle of cords running, like
Whoa,
up
Nick. Okay,
behind
it's
my
a
main
family-friendly stream, bro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was girthy
Jeez,
there.
trying to get us taken down on YouTube. Holy cow!
Is what's the hang up exactly? You just want to play it on the TV?
Yeah, like Mike, I sit in this chair like 10 hours a day. I
So you want to
want to
sit
sit
on
on the couch
Yeah.
and like lean
Dude,
back
honestly-
with a controller in my hand. It's the keyboard and mouse, man. Like in the chair,
Dude,
like I'm just
here,
plugged in all day.
This is
Honestly-
literally hooked up to my PC right now. Controller is no excuse.
I'm gonna have
True.
to double check. I don't think I have it, so don't get excited. But I may have the PS4 hard copy of the remaster.
Well,
that
you
can
did just
just
say you
borrow.
bought like it twice
I did,
already.
but I think I traded it in and I kept the Switch version. But I might be mixing that up in my head, and I traded the Switch version and kept the PS4. So I will have to check when I go upstairs. If I have it, you can just borrow it, and then that solves all your issues.
Wait, it's on Switch
It is on Switch. Yeah,
and they remastered in 2017.
2017. Yeah.
Was the Switch out then?
Yes.
Okay, when did the Switch come out?
Probably
2017.
No, I don't think it was 2017. Let me look.
That's wild.
It's
I feel
whenever
like-
Breath of the Wild. I want to say 2013, but I know that can't be right.
Whoa. No.
No, the Switch
No,
isn't
that can't be-
coming up
yeah,
on
it
10
can't be
years.
right. That can't be right. 2015.
That's a Nintendo timeline for
March
honestly,
3rd. March 3rd of 2017.
Hey, got it right. Woohoo!
Yeah, so what were they doing? They're on the pulse with this remaster. They're
Yeah, that's
like,
what
we're
I'm
gonna-
saying, dude. That's what I'm
we're gonna
saying.
Put it on like the latest console.
Yeah,
handheld
not
console
only-
right now.
Not only did they randomly pull this out of nowhere, because the original released in 2011, keep in mind, they also put it on the Switch mere months probably after the Switch release. So it was
Yeah.
super cool to see that the Switch can even run this game and run it good, I think. Control wise, a little funky because of the way the Switch is set up. But it
Oh,
runs
yeah.
great, dude. It's the perfect portable because the cases are short for the most part. It's the perfect portable game to pick up 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there.
It's my kind of gaming.
It is. It is.
Man, that's awesome. You guys have had some great ideas, and like you said, Chad, I was shocked you weren't gonna say Game of Thrones, but now that you said that, I'm not shocked at all.
Yeah, I was gonna
'cause
say
that's,
you'll probably
right
get,
up your alley.
yeah.
This probably will come to no shock to anyone. But the movie or series that I would pitch to be made into a game would be The Last Kingdom. And I would make this into a tactical RPG like Mario Rabbids Kingdom or Triangle Strategy, like a combination of these two. I think the overall story would fit this style of game. It could even fit a 4X, RTS game, but I mean, I'm sure like this region and timeline is covered by some 4X or RTS game. But you could either play as the Danes or the Saxons, and much like Triangle Strategy, as you progress through the story, you meet characters from the show and can recruit them to your your army or party. I would take the overworld movement from Mario and Rabbids Kingdom and put it in this game. Unlike Triangle Strategy, where you're just watching cutscenes and then doing, actual movement of the joysticks and pressing of buttons like 20% of the game. But yeah, the story, the depth of the characters and the depth of the RPG and the combat systems from Triangle mixed with the overworld movement of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom, but set in the Last Kingdom like franchise there. You can play as the Danes and have Uhtred and Citric and all those guys going up against King Edward and all those dorks. But you could pick, which side you wanted to play the story as, and both sides have their own unique telling of the story and perspective. So you get some replay value, and I don't know. I think it'd be fun. I'd play it.
No, that would be awesome. Like, that's kind of like right in there with like Game of Thrones. You can get away with. Well, luckily for that, like if you want, you can actually play like Total War and get that simulation out of it. So there are a lot of things very close to that, since that's all based on like real stuff. But
right,
definitely those characters, and there's a lot of gameplay mechanics you can get out of that. Like imagine the stealth like missions where you're like sneaking into places.
yeah,
And the Citric storyline.
Yep. Yeah, dude, just Uhtred's little sneaker running around trying to recruit people or doing a little scouting and stuff. Yeah, sneaker.
Sneaker. I love it. Do you guys? So I've never watched Last Kingdom. Is that like the Viking thing to watch?
In my humble opinion, yes.
Okay.
Depends on what you're looking for, but if you want a fairly historically driven story, of easy and entertaining show to watch too. Like it's fast paced. It's good. That's really the thing to go for. It has pluses in that it's a more fun watch than like Vikings. I haven't seen Vikings Valhalla, but those are just like a little bit darker and like grittier. Not that this isn't, but it's an overall easier watch, I think, with very fun characters through and through. Very good story arcs too.
There are some good light moments. There's some good humor.
Yeah.
There's some very brutal combat and situations like that. Yeah, it's good. I haven't seen the original Viking series, but I have seen Valhalla, and yeah, out of the Viking stuff that I've seen, Last Kingdom is top shelf.
Nice. Yeah, I started during my trying to search for a Game of Thrones game. I started Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because it felt like it was gonna match up well. I was like, I should probably save this because I do want to watch Last Kingdom. I was like, this probably would go much better with the Last Kingdom than it would the wildling part of Game of Thrones. So yeah, I definitely do want to get to it because really, like medieval wise, if you even call that medieval, I think you do, but I've really only watched Game of Thrones. You know what I mean? I haven't really seen much of anything outside of like samurai stuff, which is kind of technically medieval stuff too. But so yeah, and you guys talk it up quite a bit, The Last Kingdom. So
we have a Patreon episode about it.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. No, it's a great show, and I think what makes it a prime candidate for a game adaptation is like Nick said, the characters. Because even on the Saxon side, there are very interesting characters. Then there are like characters that kind of float between the two.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just there definitely seems to be a triangle strategy.
Yeah.
Combat is perfect because I mean, it's super old school. All they had were swords, shields,
Right.
horses and bows and tactics like that. So again, it'd fit perfect in that genre. And I'm just literally a giant stand for tactical RPGs now. So
Yeah, I'm right
help
with
it.
you, dude. I'm right with you. After Triangle Strategy, I went to Fire Emblem. I'm playing Fire Emblem Three Houses right now. It's been great, actually, to be honest with you. Mike, I think you'd love it. Super
I'm
cool
sure I
setup.
would.
It's perfect because I just finished Triangle Strategy. I love Persona, and it's like mashing those two together and making a game. So
Nice.
there are definitely, we talked about it on the Patriot. There's like things I don't like about it that I think Triangle did better. But it's still a great game. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. If you're looking for a tactics game, that should be where you go. Although it's
Nice.
probably a little expensive.
Yeah, I'll check it out at the library.
Yes, there you go.
That's what I do with Triangle twice.
Yep.
But yeah, so that'd be my pitch. And then now let's transition into the games to a movie or series. And I'll go ahead and start this one off since it's already kind of come up. But I think my obvious answer is a series of Detroit Become Human. There are, all right, just listen, right? We already have an amazing cast that all of the character models in the game are modeled after and are all actual actors. Like
This is
Right.
like
Jet,
your biggest driving point for all your arguments this year is like
yeah,
you have the actor
Yeah.
for it already. Just do it.
yeah, yeah.
Like the
So true.
cow argument. Like,
Exactly.
just do it, bro.
Yes.
He looks exactly like him.
But yeah, Jesse Williams is the voice of Marcus and is identical to him like in real life. I mean, I'm not lying. I've watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff since beating it because this game really captivated me.
You said series, right?
Yes, I would turn this into a series. But every character in this game, not just like the three main characters, I'm talking like every character that has dialogue in this game is like as close to perfectly reimagined from their real life likeness into the game, which is amazing because you don't have to cast for this. It's already cast. You just put a camera in front of these people instead of, and let them actually act these scenes out instead of just, doing the like wetsuit motion capture acting out of the scenes, which they did. But the stories of all three main characters are super intriguing. And I think what would make this a good option for a series that fans of the game would really enjoy is the fact that there are so many choices to make throughout your gameplay. They could pick like what they consider to be like their true story for the overall true story, and then their true story for the three main characters. And a massive portion of the people who played the game probably did not get that path in their gameplay because there's so many choices and every choice affects how your story plays out. So that to someone like me, I could watch a series, them tell a story that was in the game, and I could very well have never experienced that story and it be completely fresh to me. But you could nestle this in the Showboy standard of like 4 to 5 seasons. And yeah, I mean, just follow the narrative of the game and you have like a perfect series just already written for you, already cast for you. You just need to throw some cameras in front of these people and put it up on like, I don't know, Prime or Apple TV, or I picked those two because we need to build their catalogs a little bit.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think Apple TV would be
Yeah.
a really good option for this because though their catalog is small, the quality of their content is very high.
That's what I keep hearing. Yeah.
I've yet to really watch a show on Apple TV that I was like, oh, this kind of sucks.
Wow. Interesting. How long did this game take to beat?
23 hours.
Less. I don't know if I would go off of the stream time just because, like, sitting around and stuff. How long to beat has it at 12 hours.
12
It's
hours.
not a very long. It's not a super long game. There's 31 chapters, but they take anywhere from like
Chad could play
10 to 20
times.
minutes to complete.
So have you ever looked at any of their other games? Because I know that Heavy Rain is maybe considered their best game. I could be wrong at that. That's the game that came out that they did on PS3. It's a detective game, a serial killer game.
Yeah, I when I bought Detroit, I got a Humble Bundle deal where I think it came with Heavy Rain and I think Lost Souls.
Beyond Two Souls or whatever.
Beyond Two Souls, that's what it is. Let me double check. Yep. So I got both of those, and then like Detroit was like $12 or something.
Yeah, you should definitely check out Heavy Rain if you enjoyed this game so much, because I think for the most part it's considered slightly better. Maybe I know that Detroit is very popular. I tried to play it. I played through a couple of the first chapters. I don't know. It's just not necessarily my type of game, but you keep talking it up, man. And every time I look at or like see it in any context, I'm like, dude, this game looks so freaking cool. Like, I really should play it. It's stupid that I haven't.
It's 100% like the same thing as Triangle Strategy. Like, I've never played a game like this.
Yeah.
And have always been like, that is definitely not a game that I would ever play or enjoy playing. But if you approach it as like an interactive story and less like a game, it is so much fun. And it's the way that they build these characters, like you just get sucked in and attached to the people you're playing as and the people that they're surrounded by.
Right.
So it's very easy to get consumed by, which might be a scary thing to say to you. I know how you are. You're very much like me. But I could easily see you getting wrapped up in this.
I think it comes with PlayStation Plus. I have it in my library. Yeah.
I think I already own it, actually. Because I played it. So I already own it in some capacity. Bio, I loved Heavy Rain. I am getting ready to stream it at the end of summer. Awesome. I have not played Heavy Rain. Like I said, these kind of games aren't my like, I'm just not into them, but I do want to be into them because like this looks really good. Heavy Rain looks awesome. Until Dawn, I really want to play Until Dawn. That's supposed to be really, really good. That same studio is like cranking these dark pictures anthology games out that are similar with horror vibes to them. So I really,
plus,
really want to try them.
The Detroit team in like 2042 will be releasing Star Wars Eclipse. So,
right. I wrote an article
to this game, Chad, so you can play Eclipse.
Yeah. I wrote an article for the Dark Pictures anthology series when they announced the new one, Devil in Me, I think is the name of it, or Devil Within Me or something like that. But it sounds really cool, dude. It sounds super cool. It's just not I just need to find the one to get me into it, like you did with Detroit,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like for you, maybe Heavy Rain would be the one, the detective factor and stuff like that. Yeah, man. Shameless plug. Go check out our website. I wrote a review for Detroit Become Human because that's how much I love this game. As soon as I beat it the next day, I was like, I have to write about this. Like, I just need to talk about it. I have so many feelings. But Civ said the same studio just dropped The Quarry, which is pretty popular game these days.
Wait, the same studio that did
not Detroit, the same one that did
Until Dawn and okay, they did that one, huh? Okay. So that's the same style game. I was under the impression that was like a like a Friday the 13th or whatever the other one. They're cranking out these horror games left and right. That's why I wanted to bring up whoever said Nightmare on Elm Street. I almost guarantee you whoever's doing those games, that's going to be coming down the pipeline eventually.
Yeah, like I totally thought The Quarry was going to be like a 7 Days to Die style game, which is the Jason Voorhees ripoff multiplayer, only game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Quarry seems to be very, very
That's cool.
Story driven and things.
You
like
should
that.
check out Until Dawn for sure, because it's got your boy in it from Mr. Robot.
What?
Yeah, the
Rami
main
Malek?
Rami Malek is I believe plays a main character in that game. So
why is it not showing up in Steam? What's it called?
It's only on PlayStation. Until Dawn.
Oh, well, that'll be why it's not showing up in Steam.
Well, yeah, that would be why. Definitely. Yeah, it's only on PlayStation 4. It's probably super cheap at this point. I might I think I do have a copy of it, unopened copy of it.
Whoa! How'd you play it?
Crap. It's Rami Malek. What's he doing?
Yep. He plays Josh or something in it, I think.
I like the cover. Oh yeah, that is straight up Nat.
Yeah, it looks just like him too in the game from what I remember at least.
Yeah, that's I love, man, just the cast that some of these studios are able to lock down for these games. It just shows you how much respect the video game industry
is getting. Yeah, super cool. To answer your question, I have an unopened copy of it because I won like a sweepstakes when I worked at GameStop, and I got I have like Horizon unopened, Until Dawn unopened, a bunch of games I already owned, so they're just sitting there unopened.
Nice. Yeah, I believe Beyond Two Souls has Elliot Page as like the main character.
Yeah, that one's supposedly their worst game, from what I've read at least. I have not played it.
The worst.
Rip. Yeah. But yeah, Biosiv is the reason that I became interested in Detroit in the first place. He streamed it, and I was like, "Whoa, this is awesome." Graphically, I know we're not talking about games, but like, man, the graphics in that game,
they're
stunning.
Awesome. Yeah.
The like,
it's the perks of that kind of game.
Well, yeah, because you're not dumping a ton of stuff into
right.
Not a lot of free world movement.
Yeah. But like in the menu before you go into the game, like there's an android that interacts with you, and like it's very what was it, Metal Gear Solid, where like mess with you with like data and stuff. Well, like the android does that. They're like, oh,
that's cool.
We saw you you made this, or like when you I won't get into that in case you play it, but yeah, they even like at one point they're like, hey, you should take this survey and like ask you all these questions.
That's hilarious.
Like, yeah, it's interesting, but I think it would just make a perfect show.
Yeah, I definitely need to play it because I love as I say I love it. I'm losing the name of it. iRobot. I don't know. That's like one of my guilty pleasure movies. You know what I mean, with Will Smith. And it kind of has the same kind of vibe as Detroit, I think, at least from what I've seen. So yeah, I just need to break through that barrier of like, I don't really necessarily like these games, but I need to play this one. So
yeah, just try it out, man. I gotta say that's one thing that streaming has helped me do. Like, I don't know if I would have played Detroit if I didn't stream it,
Yeah. It's a good stream game, yeah.
But like, yeah, there's a few games lately that I've played on stream that I was like, wow, I'm really glad that either people in Discord told me I need to play it. Well, like Mass Effect was a game.
Yeah.
One of our streaming polls, and I would have never played that if it wasn't for that. And I'm really glad I did. But this is definitely
you need to get to the other ones. Did you ever play 2 or 3?
Not yet. They keep losing the poll, man. I gotta give the people what they want. Terrible.
Just put Mass Effect 2 and 3 on there. And
Those are the
that's
only
it.
options.
Those are the only options.
Everyone votes 3.
Yeah.
Yes, rip. Yeah, no. Much to Nick's chagrin, I'm streaming Resident Evil 1 right now.
Oh yeah, I saw
He
that.
keeps coming in. He's like, "This game sucks."
Yeah. Yeah. Are you're playing the remaster?
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
so supportive.
Yeah.
Comes in, just nothing but
I-
love from Nick.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I tried to play that, but
Dude, it's
after
it's so frustrating.
dude, it's like one of the most, and it's funny because we grew up playing those games, dude. Like that
I
was not.
know.
I don't remember those games being as frustrating as they were
Like
when we
I
were
just
kids.
keep trying to like go into a room and leave, and I just walk in
Dude.
circles.
Yeah, infuriating controls. That's why I'm
I
hoping.
couldn't look away though.
Yeah,
I was watching him to the very end. Like I was just like, it's like enjoyable how like painful. It
No,
is to watch.
I got quite a chunk of enjoyment of watching him do the jump in Uncharted 4. Like, bro, like try to type to him where to go, and he's going to every location except the one he needs to be at.
I just keep jumping off the friggin' roof. Yeah,
It's so funny because I remember when I played Uncharted 4, I thought to myself, like, oh, dude, they got rid of the, like, in Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, that was like, you had to do that to figure out where you were going. And I remember
Nope, it's
finishing
still
4
there.
being like, nope, it's still there.
There's like 3 spots in 4 where I had that problem, just because
Yeah.
I don't know why it just was not apparent where I needed to go, and I was just being dumb. It was
Yeah.
always a building or something.
Well, the thing with 4 is it's the areas are so much freaking bigger than the older
Yeah.
games that you can easily find yourself lost in them.
Yeah. I'm glad I could bring you some entertainment. But yeah, that's my pitch. Let's go over to Nick. What game would you like to see turned into a series or movie?
All right. This might seem like a softball, but it'd be really, really cool.
Nick
Re-
just really went all out this episode.
Really cool. I think so, like an arcane type animation, and even done in like the big parts, right? I'm talking, we need vibrant colors, we need great character models, right? And a good story. The story is gonna be the tough part, but I think it can come there. But they really need like a Valheim TV series, animated.
How? You have to really sell me on this one.
What do you mean?
Like,
Yeah,
what do
bro, you got to sell me on this one too.
what story are you telling?
I almost
Like,
stopped you because I was like, oh, we don't want to end on mine because mine's not that great. Never mind. Mine's vastly superior to this one.
A Valheim cartoon would be awesome, because you
You
don't want
put-
to do live action, because you basically have a bunch of Viking live action shows. You need like a
Yeah.
really badass Valheim Viking cartoon, but more of an anime style like Arcane would be. So more serious, obviously.
Yeah, actually, there is an underlying story in Valheim.
Yeah, no,
that
that-
actually sounds like on paper pretty rad.
The story, I think, is the hard part, because they obviously aren't focusing on the story, but there are elements to it, and I think you could shoehorn a story into it, especially if you do it in like an animated series.
Mhm.
But if you focus on like the progression, right? Maybe each season's a different biome, even incorporate like the building and like your base or the towns like slowly grow. But
Yeah.
to me, like it's the colors and how vibrant, and like the creatures in that game, like
Yeah,
those being like fully animated and being like enemies in a show.
honestly,
I think it
I'm
would be
kind
cool.
of I'm on board now.
Yeah.
It's really the overarching, very loosely tied into the game story is you end up in Valheim, and you're trying to
It's like
win
purgatory.
Odin's favor to move on to Valhalla. So you're just like, you died, you got dropped in this realm, and there are how many bosses?
5 right now.
Yeah, there's like a boss per biome, and you got to like go kill the boss and like present their trophy in this like little summoning circle. But yeah, you're just trying to like win Odin's favor so you can go to Valhalla. So like there is kind of like a cool story nestled in there somewhere. It just doesn't really play out very much in the game. But I could see it.
Yeah, because I mean, at first I was like, man, that wouldn't really work as like a show because you can just pick any Viking show and just kind of do it. So that's where I think an animation would be.
Yeah. I like
Phenomenal.
the arcane animation, or even like if you've seen the animation for Banner Saga, but use
Right.
that as like
Yeah.
a cartoon.
Yeah. That would
Yep.
be really cool.
But yeah, I think obviously I love the visuals of Arcane. So like
Yeah.
just throw that and you get like the green like smoke from the Greydorf shamans. Oh,
But
that'd be awesome.
that kind of brings to your point, like the story thing shouldn't be a problem because is there that much of a story in League of Legends? I mean, they crafted quite a story for Arcane, did
Not
they
in
not?
the game.
No,
Right.
all the stuff
All
from
around it.
Arcane is like the lore that Riot has written and built up in like character bios or like
Okay,
little
gotcha.
short stories they put out on their websites and stuff like that. But that goes all the way back to like one of the earlier points in this episode is like take some fashion of lore from a game and not like the main story of the game and
Yeah,
make
yeah,
a
yeah.
show or a movie. Like
Mhm.
tell it, because that's what these studios seem to want to do. Like everyone wants to put their own spin, tell their own story, and like like they do it with comics all the time. That's one of my buddies' like biggest gripes about DC stuff is like they like, especially Snyder, pains me to say this, but like, you know, he tells his own versions of these characters like
Yeah.
Superman
Yep.
that's supremely different than their comic counterpart. But if you take like a 2 or 3 paragraph, you know, piece of lore from a book you find in Resident Evil or something, or like
Yeah.
Valheim, and tell a story based around that, or like the Horizon series is a perfect example. You're telling the story that led up to the game. Like that, I feel like you'd find so much more success in these adaptations if you went that route instead of trying to
Yeah, but
change these.
yeah, I mean, to a point, that's kind of true for the Resident Evil movies, though. Like, they did take small segments of stuff that
Yep.
was in the games and
Stitched
made
it
movies
together.
out of it, and they
Yep,
just
there
suck
goes
at
my
it.
whole point.
You know what I mean?
My whole
Yeah.
No,
Because there's a
that's
lot.
true,
There's a
that's
lot,
true.
especially in that first Resident Evil, the very first one. There's a lot from the games in that movie, and the third one too, Nemesis. There's a lot from the games in that. It's just everything around it that they molded to fit that story is what made it fall apart in most people's eyes, I would think. So
True.
yeah.
I think Prime should do it. Be good for the Prime catalog.
Yeah. We're all about building up these other catalogs.
Yeah, yeah. Plus Netflix just like is either hot garbage or it's the best thing ever.
What is hot garbage from
On Netflix?
Netflix? Yeah.
A lot of stuff. I mean, they
think
pretty much
about it.
greenlight everything.
Like, do you love everything that's on Netflix?
I can't say that I've watched everything on Netflix,
Exactly.
but majority of the stuff that I watch, I find that I enjoy.
Right, you watch the good stuff, but like
Maybe
the
that
amount
could
of
be the
trash
case.
that's on there.
Yeah,
is
that could be the
like,
case.
It's bad, like
Yeah.
the stuff that's on there.
Netflix
And that's just because
is
they put
very
out
much a
everything.
coin flip for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on Prime you get some mediocre shows.
Yeah.
Like Wheel of Time, pretty mediocre.
Yeah, that's true. I think Bosch is great on Prime. That was like might have actually been their very first series that they picked up because they back in the day did like a survey where they put like 3 or 4 pilots on there and then people voted for which one, which I think is super cool, and I can't believe more Netflix, HBO, they don't do it this way. But Bosch got voted in and ran 7 seasons. It's now getting a spinoff. It's about an LA detective, so right up my alley. We just talked about that. And the spinoff is after he retires, he becomes a private investigator. Super cool. Series of books that are really good too. So if you guys are into detective stuff, Bosch on Prime is freaking amazing.
Nice. Yeah. Dang, dude. Just quit adding stuff that I need to watch. Okay.
Sorry.
Please do that. All right. So that wasn't as bad as I initially thought it was going to be, Nick.
Yeah.
No, it
don't-
wasn't. You just like put no effort into both your choices. You're like watching Game of Thrones. Yeah, I'll make a Game of Thrones game. You're playing
Yeah.
Valheim. Yeah, I'll make a Valheim movie
Yep.
or TV
Yep.
series. But
I did have backups, but I decided. I mean, we already talked. I was like, Horizon. I didn't know if we were gonna do movies and series, but like the Horizon movie trilogy. That was my
Yeah.
that was my
Yeah.
alternative there. But we kind of
Yeah.
talked about that earlier.
I mean, my pick's not any better by any stretch of the imagination. When we get there, you can probably guess exactly what I'm gonna say. But
Well, we're there.
are we there?
We
Okay,
are.
stick with me now. Okay, my
Alright.
pick for video game into a movie or TV series is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Now, I would not.
You don't know
want
which.
this. What?
You don't know which it would be, movie or do you care?
Oh, I know exactly. I know exactly what it would be.
Okay.
It's not going to be a live action film or television series. It's going to be an anime series. I think the story, the characters, the Japanese flair around it
Yeah.
absolutely transitions it beautifully to anime.
They would
I
totally mess
personally-
up that arm in live action.
Yes,
It would
for
look
sure.
bad.
It would look horrendous.
It would
yeah.
look really
It
bad.
would look horrendous. And there's just so much in it that's so anime, like the blood squirting, everything about it is very it's there.
The bosses.
The bosses, they're very anime. And there's a lot of inspiration they took from anime, Blade of the Immortal, all kinds of different things, but it's not Sekiro as a whole. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, yeah, if you look at any anime, like, of course, a ninja / samurai thing is going to transition great to anime.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's the characters, the bosses, everything around it, the world that they build. It's too perfect, dude. And I keep seeing like fan made anime trailers for Sekiro. And I'm like, dude, give it to me. Like, it looks so good. But I don't want just anybody to do it. And then we talked about this already, kind of. I want it to be a Netflix anime series. I think they absolutely
They're good at those.
killed Castlevania. I think that is one of probably the best video game adaptation that's out right now is the Castlevania anime on Netflix. All of it, dude. It's great. Especially if you play those games back in the day, even if you didn't play those games back in the day. I think it's well worth the watch. So I wouldn't want them doing it. As far as anime studios, directors, that kind of stuff, I'm not really that well versed in that stuff. And it feels like it's kind of it feels like odd that I'm going to say this because it is already so similar, but I would probably want whoever's doing Demon Slayer to work on it. There are a lot of parallels, so I understand that's odd.
Is that the like art style you'd want?
That is definitely the art style I want. Yeah, for sure. That's primarily what I'm talking about is the art style. I just think nobody's going to argue that Demon Slayer is not the most graphically impressive anime out right now. I think that's like everybody would say that. I think it's got some of the best animation of any series that I've ever watched. That being said, it does have a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of similarities there with even some of the characters, but yeah, dude, it's just right there, man. And I know that like From Software is a Japanese studio, and my hope is that this game doesn't die with just one release. And I think it, at least if if what it's sounding like is true, I think it is never going to get a sequel, which sucks. It's unfortunate. So the perfect way to continue that story, because they did build up a story at the end, is through a series. So yeah, I think it's a no brainer. I think anime fans and video game fans would go crazy over it. But yes, that is my pick.
I'd watch that. I have one question for Nick. Did you ever beat this game?
Heck no. No, how hard this
Yeah.
game is.
Yeah.
I do. I watched Chad play it, but he made it look pretty easy actually.
Yeah.
He also
trust me.
makes jumping and climbing in Uncharted 4 look easy too.
Yeah. Just throwing jabs at each other back and forth.
Yeah.
I really thought so okay. I thought Ghost of Tsushima might pop up.
Excuse me.
Would you do a movie or a series for Ghost?
I would do Yeah,
oh my
that's
gosh, I wish I knew the actor's name or anything he's in because it's totally blanking me right now. I've never played Ghost of Tsushima, but this one actor, I'm just like, he has to play the main character,
yeah.
and
Don't know who
I
it is.
sound like
What's
an
he?
idiot, but
Anything that
I
he's
He has
in?
no idea.
mind
Nothing.
blank. Yeah,
Mind blank. Okay, got it. I would. It's weird because I'm pretty happy with what we're getting coming down the pipeline with
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, which is a movie made by the director who did John Wick, which in my mind sounds fucking awesome.
Oh, that's
Like,
right. We are
give it
getting
to me
something.
right now. Yeah. So I'd probably do a movie. I think you have enough story for a movie in that one.
Yeah,
You
that
know
is
what I
true.
mean? There's not it like we talked about in our episode. It's odd that they picked the Mongol invasion. There wasn't anything spectacular about that Mongol invasion outside of
Oh,
what
yeah.
happened at the end.
That goes back to our conversation about needing a good series about medieval Japan
Right.
period. Like
Yeah.
that would be Game of that's a
Yeah.
good point.
And we are getting probably what is going to become a Ghost of Tsushima series and Shogun on FX when it releases. They're filming it now, so it's coming.
Hopefully it's good.
Totally different, 300-400 years after Ghost of Tsushima takes place, but same samurai era.
Samurai.
So I'd probably do a movie.
Ah,
I think that
found
it. Okay.
Yes. I'm totally gonna butcher his name. Hiroyuki Sanada.
What's he in?
He is in
Hero.
the Wolverine as Shingen. He's in Mortal Kombat as Scorpion.
Yeah, that's funny, dude, because this dude is in Shogun.
Is he?
He's playing the Shogun, I think, in Shogun. Yeah.
Nice. I know nothing about Ghost of Tsushima, but I would want him to be the main character.
Yeah. I think if you look up the dude that actually did the voice for Jin, he should. And I think he is an actual actor. I could be wrong at that. He might just be a voice actor, but
I can't believe I found that guy, by the way.
I wouldn't be upset with him.
Yeah.
He's like the quintessential Japanese martial artist, dude. Like, you've seen this guy in a bunch of stuff. I guarantee it.
Hirokuri Sanada.
Yeah. SAN.
Pretty close.
Like Canada, but with an S.
Sanada.
Hiroyuki
Sanada.
Putting our American flair on it.
Yeah, the dude who does Jin's voice does look like him.
Yeah, I don't know if they have cast Jin in the Ghost of Tsushima movie. That might be worth checking out. No, I don't think they have.
Yeah, I think those were some pretty solid choices for both games into movies or shows and movies or shows into games. And I think that our people in Discord and Biosiv and Joe here in the chat had some great ideas. I always love doing stuff like this, just like theory crafting and pitching things. I would play any of these games or watch any of these shows in a heartbeat.
It's tricky though, because there's a lot of them that are already kind of like in play somehow, but then we have to stay away from all the ones that have already been done and just sucked. Like, I would totally just be like, I need an Assassin's Creed movie or series that's good, right? Or World of Warcraft, all the usual. Did you we rant about?
Yeah. Did you ever watch the Assassin's Creed movie?
Yeah.
Is it like horrendously terrible?
No, it's not horrendously terrible. It's like just enough to like squeak by. It's like, fair attempt, but like by no means does it. They did the traditional like Resident Evil thing where they're like, we're gonna make an okay movie and we're gonna string together like elements from the games. And like it's really just dropping you some eggs because you're like, oh, there's this thing, oh, there's that thing, oh, there's this, and but it's like it's not the game, right? It's some sort of like nod to the game. It's a movie that's just like referencing the game opposed to like
and that's it. That's kind of how I felt. Although I really enjoyed it, Brady really enjoyed the Uncharted movie. it felt like that. You know what I mean? It felt like they were just taking all these elements from all these different games and putting them into this movie, and then they ended the movie with a
with
teaser
it
for the
starting
first game.
Yeah,
They're like, what? But you just did all of 4 set pieces. So what are
right.
we doing here? Like, we shouldn't even know that Sam exists at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
What the hell?
You're so right, dude. They straight up
Yeah.
like loosely told 4, and then they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, gonna start over at
Gonna
1."
start back over at 1. Like, what the hell? I get
That's
that they had to do something and they wanted it. They're probably hearing people like us complain all the time that they don't do the video game stuff in their movies. And that was maybe a bad case of them taking things from the video game and putting them into a movie. Although I enjoyed it, and I'm here for the sequels. I'll be there day 1 to watch Uncharted 2 when it comes out, if it comes
Yeah.
out.
Well,
but go ahead.
the lucky thing about like Uncharted is it kind of gets to have the Fast and Furious or
over the top.
Transformers flair, where like that's
Yeah.
enough to carry it, where
Yeah.
whoever's just gonna go see them because like, oh, those are cool movies visually.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what those movies are for, man. So like, I can't remember, it was somebody, it might have been Jordan, where he's like, the plane scene in the trailer is so ridiculous. Like, dude, it's ripped right from the game. So like, of course it's ridiculous. That's what we're coming to these movies for.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For sure.
Wow, Fast and Furious game. Why didn't I think of it?
Yeah.
Were there any shows or movies that you considered turning into games that were pretty much already done, or like honorable mentions? I know I was thinking of trying to do something with Carnival Row, just because I think that whole like world in that series is very interesting, and there's lots to explore there. I also think you could have, I know that I keep talking about Detroit. I'm sorry. It's like one of the most fresh things in my memory gameplay wise. But like that world in a Detroit style game, especially similar storyline where like, the androids are dealing with, I don't know, oppression and like things of that nature. They're kind of like taking over, human jobs and putting humans out on the streets. So humans hate androids, and anytime they see them, they like treat them like garbage.
Yeah.
There's a similar aspect in Carnival Row to that. They touch a lot on like social issues in there. So like having a very narrative choice heavy game in Carnival Row dealing with similar topics as Detroit did, I think would be super interesting. Or you could even go the classic, just like RPG style game, because it's a fantastical, magical world with creatures and humans and all this. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's ripe for that. But I mean, there are like 30,000 of those games, so we don't need another one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I had a couple that I kind of was bouncing back and forth. The one was Daredevil. I think Daredevil would transition greatly to a video game. I think it's coming. If the rumors are true, I think it might be coming from somewhere. But yeah, I just think it'd be cool, like a Uncharted style gameplay too, not like an open world like Spider-Man, but more of a story-driven linear experience. I think would be really, really good for Daredevil. I wanted to do Narcos, but it was gonna transition to the same kind of argument that I had, where you have like the bad guys and the good guys and play as both of them. So I haven't seen all of Narcos, so I didn't want to get into a big Narcos discussion because I'm not that fluid on it. And then the other one was The Sopranos. I think that would have transitioned to a cool open world game, like mafia style open world game.
Basically Michael and GTA 5.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Yeah, that definite inspiration for Michael. And they did do a Sopranos game back in the day, back when like they even did a Shield game back in the day, back when these studios were just cranking out these really shitty licensed games. I did enjoy The Sopranos quite a bit. I enjoyed the Godfather game back in the day. I thought it was really good. There's leaked footage of Scarface a game that we didn't get from Scarface. We did get a Scarface game that was horrendous, but this one looked really good. It got canceled, unfortunately. So
Nice.
I was bouncing back and forth between a couple of those.
Nice. You have any, Nick?
Yeah, so many of my, like, I don't know, there's just a big need for like really different but successful and good MMORPGs. And like
Yeah.
this wasn't, that's not where basically I was like, yeah, this would be going. It was actually like Erin's idea because I asked her and she was like, what about this one? I'm like, I started thinking about it, I'm like, huh. And I was like, that's a pretty good one. And then I was like, I'm just describing an MMORPG. But like James Cameron's Avatar,
Yeah.
like just because that would be cool. But where I was thinking about that, like mechanically wise, like an action survival, and then just throw the MMO component in there. But the fact that it would lean heavily onto the fact that you would be a human, but you would be controlling your avatar. And maybe you can choose not even to play as that type of character, right? You can just be a human, right? You can just be like the soldier people, like murdering the natives, and then you can just be straight up be a native. I don't know. There's a lot of things you could do with what's going on in those movies, and that's another one. Has anything ever been done for Avatar?
Yeah, there was a really crappy like licensed game back in the day, but
Is there another one coming out?
E3 last year, Ubisoft announced that there's an Avatar game that looks really cool. Fortunately, Ubisoft's doing it, so it's going to be a giant, empty, boring open world probably. But that being said, the trailer looked really, really good. I think it might be first person. I'm not 100% sure. Open world type of. It's called Frontiers of Pandora, I believe.
Chad, I really think you should play Assassin's Creed Origins.
It's funny that you brought that up because I saw that it got a 60 FPS patch, and I was like, "Oh, like that kind of looks better than Valhalla and whatever the one was between the two of them,
Odyssey.
Odyssey."
Yeah, and I started playing Odyssey, and it's good. And it has like all the best mechanics from and it had a lot of mechanics that weren't in Origins, and that's like what kind of people didn't like. But Origins to me, like, it's just so grounded in like Egypt and like this it's very much an RPG, like where you are this character and you're venturing in this very immersed world where you're out there in the desert. And I and I think it will challenge it could I just want to challenge your concept of like a big empty world, because it is exactly that, because it's the desert, but it's intentional because it's the desert. So it would, I think it would be interesting if you ever got around to playing that, like if you can make it through it, because the great thing about that game is you only uncover like 40% of the map and you can finish the story. Probably even less.
Oh, really?
And to me, like, the story is like the best part. I just finished like way too much of the map because I just had fun in a big empty open world. So
I harp on Ubisoft a lot for their open worlds, but I think if I could just get over the hump of Assassin's Creed's combat, I'd love their open world, because there does seem like, at least in Valhalla specifically, there's a lot to do, a lot to explore, a lot of cool areas to explore, a lot of cool stuff to do. I just can't stand the combat. Like, it just feels so bad to me. It feels like, when comparing it to Ghost of Tsushima, where you can like literally feel the slicing of the sword in the triggers on the PS5, and then you go to Assassin's Creed and it doesn't even really look like you're hitting the enemy, let alone swinging an axe into their face.
Just grab a spear and just swing it.
Just and that was everything. And there's just like a lot of jankiness to Assassin's Creed games. Like, you're like trying to walk through the village and he's like jumping on the roof and shit. And you're like, what?
I've only played Valhalla for like an hour and a half or so, but I know exactly. Like, you get anywhere close to a climbable object, which
and
is
he's
everything.
On it. Everything in the game. Light posts, everything.
And that, like, the combat in those games has taken such like a degrade. It's almost a simplification. It's degraded over time, because in the first one, like, you were very intentional about like where you
first
climb.
One's great,
but I every time I do it in game, like, ever since Origins, like this has been a thing. Like you can climb literally anything. Like you can climb a polished bronze like statue.
Yeah.
Clearly nothing
Nothing to
grippable, like
yeah.
unless you're Spider-Man, but
Right.
like you're basically Spider-Man
Yeah.
in these games. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the problem is like there's no button to engage a climb. It's just like I'm running.
No. Yeah.
And now
Yeah,
I'm
That's it.
climbing.
Yes. Yeah. It's
yeah, could have
so
used that in Uncharted 4, by the way.
if it wasn't yeah. If it wasn't so janky feeling though, I think I
Yeah.
would be okay with it. It's just it's very like it almost seems like he's doing moves before you're even doing them on the controller. And I think that's where the disconnect comes.
Mhm.
But that being said, Origins has caught my eye because I know I say it all the time, but 60 FPS is a great way to take an old game and make it seem like it just came out this year. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It makes that big of a difference. So
Yeah.
it's definitely caught my eye. I thought it was odd that they didn't do Odyssey and they did Origins. I don't know why.
I mean, I have my reservations about Odyssey and also Valhalla, just because to me Origins is so focused on the story and the character. It's so authentic to me and immersed. Whereas like Odyssey, it's great, like it's
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
I'm not getting that like immersion
Yeah.
from it. Like Origins is just so it just feels right. It's authentic.
So I might like it because I'll be honest with you, that's kind of the disconnect with Valhalla. Once you get to England, it just becomes like just a blank open world with nothing to do, nothing of
Yeah.
interest, at least. That first segment though, and I don't know how much you guys have both played of Valhalla. I assume you got through the intro, but that first intro where you're a kid, I'm like, that's the Assassin's Creed I want, where it's like a more not linear, but more focused on a story that they're telling. And then once you get to England, that just like goes away. But that being said, there's so much cool stuff in there, like the ship stuff, the battles, all that stuff. The rating, I think, is super cool idea that you're rating these like.
You basically describe what happened with me in Odyssey, because like when you start Odyssey, it's really cool. You're like, oh, this is awesome. Like basically, I'm playing the 300, the game. But then it's just like, all right, you've did the first few areas, and like, guess what? You can literally go anywhere in this entire giant map. I'm like, oh god,
too
like,
much. Yeah.
It's too open ended at that point.
Yeah. And there's not a lot like. In Tsushima, you have that same feeling of getting thrown into this huge map, but there's so much different things at every corner that are distracting you. There's a bird chirping over here to lead you to something. There's a camp over here. I don't feel that in Valhalla, and I think it's because they make the freaking worlds too big. If they condense their worlds down, I don't need to be able to take up 4 hours walking from one point of the map to the other. Just give me a smaller condensed package with more stuff to do in that package versus the same amount of content in a giant world that feels empty.
Yeah. And that's like the weird line that Tsushima tried to walk, where they had less stuff in a big world, but luckily it felt like natural enough, like how things occurred, which is really different. And Google always suggests like a lot of these articles to me, but it's like people kind of critiquing like open world. And the one mentioned how this was a big thing people knocked Witcher 3 for, which I didn't realize because I wasn't plugged in. But I think 60% of like the completable map items were just thrown in there in the last like month or a couple months of development. And it's just to fill the map. Like someone was just like, we need to fill the map with things to do. Which is fine then for that game. But like, obviously it's the overwhelming daunting part. And the problem is that's kind of taken seed in all these open world games where they're like, all right, here's like our game. And we made a really cool big world. Now let's just fill it. Cause like people just like in their gamer brain, right? They're like, I need stuff to do all over this map and check all those boxes.
Yeah. And I think like The Witcher, yes, The Witcher has like an absolute absurd amount of stuff to do in it. I've been playing that game since it released, and I'm not even remotely close to finishing it. I'm like literally, no joke, I'm probably like 15% of stuff, and I have played a colossal amount in that game as far as the side content goes. But I almost prefer that because I'm still playing that game now, and that game came out 2013, maybe 2014. So it feels. I didn't get the feeling out of The Witcher that a lot of the stuff was thrown in last minute. I felt like arguably some of the side content is better than the story content in The Witcher. Not all of it, obviously, but some of it. I think that what Tsushima did so well versus Ubisoft as a whole is they kept you in the game for all of it. Whereas Assassin's Creed, you're just going map marker to map marker to map marker, really. You're getting on the map, you're putting a waypoint, and you're going to that waypoint. Tsushima kept you in the game. They had birds pointing you to where to go.
Yep.
They had the wind pointing you to where to go. That just elevated the immersion in there because you're not spending most of your time in the menu unless you're really lost and you're really trying to get to a specific point. That's still there. They didn't take it out, but it's not a focal point of how you navigate through the world,
Yep.
And I think that one of my favorite Ubisoft games of all time is Far Cry 3. It's like the perfect combo of that nice tight map with a ton of crap to do in it. And then once they got to 4, it got a little bit bigger, but the content set stayed the same size. 5, same thing, bigger, content's the same size. 6, I haven't played. I assume it got bigger and the content stayed the same. It's just the way they're trending. So yeah, it's just I need a more focused map, I guess, a smaller map with the same amount of content. If you want to throw that much stuff in there, that's fine. Just give me a tighter area to navigate it. And it doesn't sound like the next Assassin's Creed is going to do that because they're like talking there's like going to be different maps and different countries and different characters. Like, holy, okay, you guys are going in the total opposite direction. But within that game, if those are smaller areas, it could work really, really well.
Work. Yeah. That's a little bit how Brotherhood was.
Yeah,
basically Assassin's Creed 3 or 2. 2 is one of my favorite ones though, because it was digestible. You can do it,
and that's why I feel like even though I'm saying how much I love The Witcher's not digestible by any stretch of the imagination. Not even the story. The story is really long as a whole, but I don't know what it just has to be the fact that there's not much direction in these Assassin's Creed games. Like they put you where you're going and they're like, explore, which works for some games. Like we said, Tsushima, Breath of the Wild did really good with just not giving you anything whatsoever. Where to go. You can literally start from the beginning of Breath of the Wild and go straight to the main boss. But you're not going to be leveled up. You're not going to have your gear, that kind of stuff. So I don't know why it transitions so much better in Breath of the Wild than in these Assassin's Creed games. I don't know if it's because I don't know what it is, dude. I just can't. I try my hardest to get into these damn games every time. And Valhalla has been the one that has piqued my interest the most out of any of them in the past decade, over a decade. But even playing it, I'm like, dude, like it's just kind of the same crap over and over, and then a long walk to the next same thing,
Yeah. Very valid points, I gotta say.
By the way, are we doing the recommendations things on here yet? Because I would like to recommend this water bottle real quick.
No, but you know what? This is something we've talked about. We've tossed around this idea of at the end of each episode, we recommend something to you guys. Totally got this from Play Along Podcast. Shout out Jared and Play Along crew. But yeah, they basically pick a brand, topic, idea, something. Like for example, one episode that they recommended apps that they use all the time, like phone apps or something. So I thought that'd be fun to do. And we've tossed around the idea. We haven't done it yet, but Chad would like to recommend something to you guys.
Yes, I'm just like totally in love with this water bottle, and I think it's from Walmart. I don't know how you say it, but there's the brand. It's backwards. I apologize. But the cool thing about it is it looks like just a normal water bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like normal one that you drink like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can also
What? There's a straw in there?
There's a straw in it, dude. It's so cool. Look at the tip. You see the little tip
Chad
there?
is showing us his tip right now, and
See the
man,
little tip?
yeah,
You just
you
suck
could
on the little
totally
tip,
just
bro.
suck right on that tip.
Just
Dual
suck right on it.
purpose.
Dual
Dual
purpose.
purpose water
One of the
bottle.
best water bottles.
Plus,
sure.
it kind of looks like R2D2.
It does kind of look like R2D2. It's definitely got the aesthetics of R2D2 Yeah, it's super
So
cool.
a trash can.
It's metal, so it keeps stuff cold forever.
So a trash can you could drink out of.
Yes, essentially. So good.
Well, there's our debut pilot run of the Showboys Recommends.
Yeah. And when you're comparing like this to a Yeti, like the Yeti doesn't have that cool shit.
Right.
It's just
Also,
you got to
it's probably
manually drink.
It's probably like 70% cheaper too.
Yes, this is from Walmart. It's probably like $10, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Super cool. I was just
Are you
flabbergasted
partaking
the first time I
of
saw it.
liquid from a water bottle tonight, Nick?
Yeah.
Are we going to be twinning?
Yeah.
Probably. Yep.
A little
Exclusive.
custom Showboys water bottle action.
Oh, poor Chad.
Mine's
sad.
way cooler. Look at you guys. You got to really struggle to get that water out of there.
Yeah, this ain't no little tip.
Yeah, it's just a big gaping open hole. Mine's more refined for sure.
On that note,
You have
I
two
think we
holes.
should
I
probably
have
wrap
two
this
holes.
up before YouTube pulls this episode down too. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We had a lot of fun. It's always a fun topic to talk about, and always a fun topic to get input from you guys. So, if you have any ideas, maybe one of our suggestions, piqued your interest or turn the wheels in your noggins, leave a comment. Let us know if there's a particular game you'd love to see adapted into a movie or a show, or if there's a movie or a show that you would love to play as a video game. You can leave a comment here on YouTube. You could jump into our Discord and let us know. But yeah, thank you. Check out the Patreon, showboys.com, or patreon.com/showboyspodcast. Check out our website, showboysmedia.com, where you can get all of your Showboys related links and content. We have a very active blog right now where we're writing reviews and articles about shows and games. We have this awesome gaming page that Nick's been working on where you can see the live feeds of all of our stream team members. And I don't know, the website's pretty dope. Go check it out. Shout out Space Cork for getting that started for us. But yeah, in the meantime, you guys have a lovely night, a great 4th of July weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday for season 5 of our Game of Thrones Throwback Thursdays. Hey, you guys got anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No.
Dude, what was that you put up on the screen there?
It's Grogu eating the frog.
Wow.
Aw.
That's intense.
Is he so cute?
It is. What the
They
heck is
like-
that for?
We have like 50 of these things around. They're just little like statues. They just sit here on the desk.
You have 50 of those?
No, probably not 50. That might have been a gross
Just the one
exaggeration.
of him eating the frog. You don't have any other ones?
No other ones down here, but they're littered all throughout the house. So